Welcome to Awaken Life Radio, a podcast about being a spiritual being, having a human experience in a world gone mad. Each week, we will discuss how you can heal yourself, cultivate your intuitive superpowers, and be a sacred vessel for planetary healing. I am your host, Narayani Gaia. Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of Awaken Life Radio. Today I want to talk with you about the topic of healing when you lose a loved one. The journey of healing after you lose somebody that you love to the other side is one that I'm very familiar with in the last couple of years, and collectively we're very familiar with from surviving the pandemic and losing not just people that we know that we care about, but people that we care about, losing people they care about, and all of the deep and confusing things that we have been asked to interact with and live with, including making difficult decisions when the world seems to be closing in on us. And so today in this episode, my intention is to offer you some remedies and insights to help you to shift your perspective, but also to balance honoring your grief and holding vision for relating with death in a new way so that you can heal and others can heal, and collectively we can heal and understand the beauty and the natural process of the journey of healing from losing loved ones, and also connecting to life after we lose loved ones so that we can truly live awakened, loving, inspired lives that are not bypassing grief, but actually acknowledging and honoring the journey that it takes to heal. And if you've been checking out these podcasts, you know that Awaken Life Radio is really about healing and awakening to your intuition, which I also akin to relating with the spiritual world. So I want to share with you today about how we kindle and nurture our relationships, both with our own process of grief and also with awakening to what's possible in our lives after we lose loved ones, and how to stay in a spiritual relationship with our beloveds on the other side. Now, I am not a grief expert. I am just a woman who has some experiences and likes to share and tell stories, and hopefully inspire you today and inspire people with things that have really helped me to go through this spiritual journey of balancing both my desire and my soul's path and my soul's calling. And this journey is not one that I can say that I've walked alone, nor is it one that I would recommend anyone really try to walk alone. I think the power of community and family, including the struggles that emerge in relationship to family and in relationship to people in your community, are there to help you to clean your heart, to grieve, and to hopefully grow into more of yourself while you're here in this world. To my surprise this summer, my father passed away, and I was getting ready to close a grieving cycle of 4 years since my partner passed away. And it seemed to teach me many things about the cycles of the energy of loss and death, and also about the timelines and how our timelines are shifting when we lose people that we love. And it came to me recently in the process of healing, of which I am still in with losing my father very recently, that when somebody we love transitions and they go to the other side and they go from form into light, that they leave behind their body with the earth, and their soul is not just part of the collective or nature, but it's part of our memories, and that our brains have the ability to communicate and connect spiritually throughout time and space. And so there's some kind of thing that happens. I experience it as seeing a portal similar to the portal at birth, where there's spiraling that happens. And I noticed how when my father transitioned, it seemed to be this spiraling energy. And then again, we lost another beloved, one of my elders, Chief Golden Light Eagle, this year and this summer, very, very recently. And I experienced it in a deeper level. And I experienced in his transition where the vortex opened in the time space, in the collective magnetic field upon his transition, and that somehow that shifted the timelines. Now, personally, I like to track what's happening with me and see how that relates to how other people are experiencing their own life and their own perceptions about their intuitive hits and their awakening insights. And we see and we weave that together like we're doing a tarot reading or, doing a constant astrology reading to understand how our lives are reflecting back to us deeper messages that support personal and collective healing. And so in this particular perception that I had, the spiral energy opened up the collective field to really shift how we're coming into a new era and a new timeline. And also in my own self, with the passing anniversary of Chief Elkman, 4 years this summer, and also his brother, and also my father, it was a lot of quick messaging. In addition, my father's mother passed early this year, who was 103 years old and a half and very spiritual. So in the reflection of my relationship with these beloveds on the other side, there's some things that I've seen. And with this spiraling energy, it's shown me how death can be a pattern interrupter. It can be something that completely changes the way that you are on a trajectory in your life towards what it is that you're going to experience in the future. For example, you have a partner and you think that you're going to raise your kids together, and the partner passes away and you're left with your kids. Or somebody else in your family passes and there's children that now you get to raise or love or care for, or adults. You lose one of your parents and the other parent moves in. And it's a balance of the shock and the revisioning that I think spiritual management and energy management can really help with. And a lot of the things that we work with at Awaken Life School, as well as that I speak about on this podcast, help you with energy management in order to navigate in the integration of life with your spiritual knowing. So I offer this today because there's a couple of things that came really clear to me. One is that death is a pattern interrupter, and it does give us an opportunity to get off our hamster wheel and kind of shake off, our perceptions and look with wider eyes towards our lives, knowing that that person is no longer physically here, but yet we have this angelic guidance on the other side. And from here, from this place of relating with our beloveds as spiritual beings, not physical beings anymore, we have an opportunity to make new choices in our lives, to learn the lessons from their passing. Maybe they taught you something your whole life and it became really clear when they passed. Or in the passing, you had a healing with someone in your family, or you realized how much certain patterns or lifestyle choices are not serving you. And so maybe that gives you an opportunity to get on a new trajectory, to make new choices, to start a new career in honor of what this person taught you from how they lived and how they died. So in this opportunity, your person can teach you. And this is the second element that I've really learned that I want to share with you, because when we can take the lessons and the gifts from experiences, it supports us in being held in our process of grief. And grief is its own animal. It's its own animal. So please allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to grieve, and do not judge your emotions or the emotions of others. This is a practice, not a place to be perfect with, because we know that life is life and we are human and we are not perfect. But we can practice, and we can practice to honor sadness and anger and grief, and feel in our bodies, breathe through any obstacles to peace and compassion that we have. And so death can teach us to heal, not just from our loss of our beloved in the physical, but also heal through any negative, destructive emotional patterning that maybe didn't have a chance to be felt before. This has definitely been a gift that grief has given me, and that I think really helps with the dissolving of ancestral trauma and pain. And I want to offer you a tool to help you to be able to really honor the emotions when they're challenging. And we get into this at Awaken Life School, and we have deeper trainings to be able to learn to alchemize. And when we learn to be able to honor without bypassing, we have a chance to actually move all the way through the traumas that may even have been in your design, in your energy, in your field, in your body, that has been going on for many generations. It might not even just be about the grief of the loss of your beloved today or at this time, but it could be about your ancestral pain. And so it's one of those gifts that come from grieving. And so to do that, be present. That's really the main thing. If you want to know how to access your emotional stuck patterns and stagnation, be present. Again, you could join our courses. We could do breathing training with you, and meditation training and mindfulness, and all of that is helpful. But really, take your time and be present with what you feel. Be in the space of breathing and slowing down, and notice if you're staying too busy to actually process. Give yourself that time to grieve. It's a way of honoring yourself and healing yourself. And when you heal yourself, you prepare to live a lighter, more free existence in this body. And that is honoring your beloved. The next tool I want to offer you, it has to do with energy management. And energy management is really a way that we can weave through our self-healing journey. And one of the ways that we do it, we just mentioned, really being present, really honoring your emotions. That's great. Another is setting up practices on the outside. So setting up a altar or a daily or bi-weekly or 3-4 times a week, regular commitment to really take care of your spirit, and doing practices like communicating with your beloved, like lighting a candle and asking Creator Source to come to you, journaling and listening to your angels, meditating with beautiful sound healing music, and really listening to your heart and see if your spirit guides have anything to say to you. And when you start to relate with the spiritual world, and you make time to relate with the spiritual world, you are able to come into a slower frequency, or I should say, a more grounded frequency to support those higher frequencies, and really start to embody a new state of being. Energy management is something that you can do to help your spiritual health and your emotional health, and of course your physical health. So energy management includes clearing your field, making sure you shower once or twice a day if need be, if you have the water resource to do so. Drinking tons of water, drinking lots of clean, good, pure water that isn't leaching plastic, that's well sourced, that is nourishing, eating healthy foods, drinking herbal teas, doing things to help tonify your system. When you've gone through your grieving process, you tend to break down a lot of the systems, and grieving dismantles a lot of frozen emotion, and that's good. And we want to do that. But we also want to replace by building our energy fields with a certain quality that resonates with a healthier state of who we are on an integrative level. That integrative level comes from you doing these integrative practices. And so this is how your perception starts to shift. And this is the kind of the gift or the benefit of really doing high quality energy management when you're grieving. When you allow yourself to go through the emotional and spiritual connections and give that time to feed yourself nutrients, you start to shift how you perceive. And the way that you perceive may come from a deeper place. It may come from a place of remembering you're a spiritual being having a human experience. It might come from a place of having moved through forgiveness for resentment you had for someone that you loved who left, or someone in your family or your community who may have hurt you in any way. I've had bunches of experiences with that. And I find that death really is the greatest pattern interrupter. And this way of pattern interrupting is something we talk about in coaching, and that my coaches have taught me through showing how when you come in with a total fresh possibility and you stay present with the community and the people who care about you, it shows you in to be more of who you are and more of what you're capable of. And so today, I wanted to share with you some of the processes and realizations around shifting perception and radical self-care in the grieving process. Whether you recently lost someone or you lost someone who, left a long time ago, but you still don't feel healed, I invite you to consider trying some of these practices, sitting, lighting your candle, doing your spiritual work, sitting and working through the emotional process. And if you're having a hard time, I want to offer today grieving counsels for people who are interested. I am making myself available to do some consults. If you are interested in getting some support around your grieving process, I would love to offer you some of my time. And so check out the link for booking some free consult time with me in the show notes if you genuinely feel like you want support in moving through some of your grief and moving on from your life. I in no way claim to be an expert. I, again, just claim to be a woman who has walked this path and learned some things that have helped me start to rebuild my life and find great inspiration in life after loss. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out today's podcast. I can't wait to hear what you think. If you enjoyed listening to today's episode, and I sure hope you did, you can listen to Awaken Life Radio wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. To join the conversation, hop on over to our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Awakened Life Tribe. You can join us there and share any thoughts, feelings, insights, or questions that you have from listening to Awaken Life Radio, and we can interact and connect more. To support you in your healing journey from grief and loss, I am honored to offer you a complimentary consultation. Follow the link in the show notes so we can have a chat, and I'll do my best to support you however I can. Thank you so much. Namaste.